Okay, so welcome to my commentary version of my Pokemon Yellow world record speedrun in 1:55:49. I thought I would do this commentary version to kind of gain you guys a little more insights on like what I was thinking and feeling during the run. So this isn't going to have any audio. It's just going to be me talking over the video. So let's give it a try. Okay. So I think that was a good timer start. There is a very good chance that I will forget to like split the splits during the run, but the most important part is retiming it. So first of all, I lost a little time there because I named my character K because my name's Kyle. It is faster to name your character A like I named the rival, but it's gonna be okay. I think it's worth it. Premature timer? No, it was late if anything, so if it looked premature to you, then it was good. It doesn't matter about like comparing against the old splits. I don't have the old splits anymore. I'm not trying to make them. But yeah, it's not that big of a deal. It's like the timer's really only there for me to retime the run. Because I'm pretty sure it's a 49, not a 50. But such commentary. I mean, there's not too much to talk about in the beginning of the run. You can just mimic this part and do just as well. I mean, the only thing to really talk about is the fact that like when I'm mashing through text boxes, I'm mashing with A and B because the game only accepts inputs at about half the speed that you need to mash with only a single button. So you have to like alternately mash, which can get pretty frustrating because your thumbs start to hurt if you do it like optimally for a long time. But yeah. I don't actually remember if I got a 159 rival fight start. We'll have to see if I mashed well on this run. I don't think I... Okay, mid 200. That's like kind of lazy mashing, honestly. But it's okay. When I started this run, this was like maybe 4 hours, I think, into a like just complete dry spell of no runs past Surge. I was so demotivated. You can like y'all can't see my face on the camera, but like I just look so fucking sad. That was a good fight. Just a nice little 4-turn there. Rival fight win. If you lose that rival fight, the Eevee turns into Vaporeon instead of Flareon, which makes the run a lot more like stringent. Like you have to you lose out on a little bit of money. You lose out on the ability to kind of mess with your XP route late game. It's just a little more set in stone, and you're also forced to get experience in Mount Moon. The trade-off for that is you get a couple of safe Pokemon to set up on in the late game, but it's okay. Okay, so that's pretty standard. The average, so you have to like go up to deliver the parcel, come back down, or like to get the parcel, go back down to deliver it, and then go back up again to, start the game. So the average encounters you'll see going up, down, and up is 3.5-ish. So I don't remember. I actually don't really. I don't remember that much about this run. Maybe it'll come back to me. I've been practicing red, so like it's a little weird. You'll see me move through Pikachu here. To do this without bonking, you have to hold B. It's kind of like a little swag movement, I guess, because you can see how tilted I am. Like I don't normally move like straight left there. It doesn't matter, but like it's just my little preference to go down then left, and like I didn't do that there, which was probably like a minor mistake. I'm super tilted at the beginning of this run. I remember how I was feeling like, oh my god, I'm never going to get another run again. What am I doing with my life? I've been grinding this game for like a month. It was hard to be in a positive mindset at this point. So I'm going to move behind Oak here. It might look a little weird, but the idea is that the camera is focused around my character at all times. So by moving my character above Oak, I move the bottom of the screen like closer to Oak, and the rival comes from wherever the bottom of the screen is, wherever that threshold is. So he moves about half my speed, and he has to take less steps to like get to his proper point in the cutscene. If you move like just in front of Oak, then it's a lot slower. So yeah, this saves like half a second because you have to do some extra movement yourself. But and this is another instance where you have to hold B to move through Pikachu without bonking into him. So that was 2 encounters so far, I think. Yeah, that was 2. 2 is like good. Okay, so yeah, that was a very reasonable start. Like a pretty good rival fight, and then like 2 encounters. So we have to shop first because we need a Pokeball to catch Nidoran. So we also buy potions here while we're at it. It's worth noting that you can't actually buy potions here in Red Blue, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, the items I bought are like, the reason I bought that number of items is kind of balancing like safety versus how much money I want to have in the late game. So yeah. In this case, buying exactly 4 Pokeballs rather than more allows me to buy a 3rd Super Potion in Celadon rather than having to sell Pokeballs to do that. A lot of times you sell your Pokeballs anyway just because you want that inventory slot to be open for something else. But so this is the major difference from my last world record. We switched to RTA timing, so we're allowed to save and quit now rather than in-game timing where we're not allowed, where it has to be in a single segment. So doing this reset is important because when you hard reset the console, the RNG starts from the same point each run. So as long as I move through this intro sequence and this movement frame perfectly, I'll get a similar result each time. So I can essentially, most of the time, 90+% of the time, guarantee that I'll see a first encounter level 6 Nidoran with good stats, which is quite the improvement from before. And wow, this one gets in the first ball too. Okay, so this was a good rival fight, 2 encounters, and a first ball Nido. So this is what I would imagine like the beginning of a pretty good run to look like. Gonna menu here before turning. When you enter a new room and enter movement from a stationary position, your first turn creates an extra chance for an encounter and takes extra time. But if you menu before doing that, then you are essentially burning that turn frame so it doesn't take extra time. And obviously switching Nido to the front to get the, the XP and do the fighting because Pikachu's pretty worthless. Yeah, there's still some donation pop-ups that are going to come up in this run. I can't really turn them off because that was like over the layout that I'm like recording the video on, but yeah. So this fight is kind of silly because like that, you can just miss a tackle or like critical a tackle and just lose turns to nothing. So it can be a little frustrating. So I checked my stats there briefly just to make sure I didn't get the bad end of the RNG manipulation. So this Nido has, if you're interested in the DVs, 13 HP, 15 attack, 9 defense, 14 speed, and 13 special. So this is actually the worst possible Nido you can get. Oh, that sucks. Did I take the risk here? I did. Wow. This run literally hinged on a 50-50. So I took a 50-50 to die there to get this jingle skip, right? So you see, like, boom, right past that level up. If you're in red bar when you level up, you skip the sound for leveling up, and you can just, like, skip through the text instantly, and instead of wasting, like, 3.5 seconds sitting there listening. So, wow, this run had a 50% chance to never happen. That's crazy. Yeah, I was frustrated with runs for 3. Remember, I haven't made it past Surge for 3 days at this point. I'm dying on the inside. I'm pissed. So this fight's a little trolly. I'm going to skip or switch Horn Attack to the first slot there because I'm going to be using a lot of Horn Attacks. You don't want to, like, you know, wait and have to scroll to a different move slot each time you use Horn Attack since you use it so much. This fight's a little trolly because you got to go through like 3 turns on that Caterpie and not get string shotted because this Metapod has Harden, and if he hardens like before you can Horn Attack, you're just fucked. That was a low roll into Harden. That was actually really bad. So we got low roll into Harden. Into Harden. Wow. So that's super bad. And this is where I just, you can see my, you can't, but I can see my face. Like, my face is just like, oh my fucking God, not this shit again. So this was what? A 6-turn Metapod? I switched to Tackle there. That's the exact damage that Tackle does. It's good to know. Like, save a Horn Attack. That fight could have been worse, considering I got some good damage rolls after the multiple Hardens. I think we're at 1 encounter so far. Yeah, 1 encounter so far. Oh yeah, that's right. We don't get the Pidgey. I'm looking for a Pidgey here. Pidgeys occur at like 24%. You'll see a Pidgey going through these encounters. So that was 1, 2, 3. Menuing does not reset the encounter rate. Menuing, like, desum continues to move forward while you're menuing. That critical is a bit scary. Do I get tackled here and go for it? No, I don't. Oh, nice. Wow, that's awesome. So my HP is actually perfect here. That was really lucky. That's a tough 3-shot to hit. It saves time. And now I have 31 HP instead of 32 HP, which is really important for the next fight. I don't actually remember how the next fight goes. So 1246 Forest with no Pidgey. That is... oh, wow, that mistake. I actually opened my Pokemon menu there instead of items. You can see I'm so tilted. Like, I'm playing like kind of badly and lazily, and you saw me take that risk early in the run that maybe I didn't really need to take to get my goal time, which was a 155. So, yeah. That tilt, though. So we have to fight this trainer to get double kick before Brock. It's really important to have double kick because you can't like really win the fight with Nidoran without having the fighting type move. So this fight's annoying because they have a lot of chances to critical you. Did he just Gen 1 miss me? He totally just Gen 1 missed me. What? I forgot about that. Diglett just Gen 1 missed me. That's a 1 in 256 chance. That's crazy and annoying, actually. You want to take damage on this fight? That's what's up. Does he wind up... I guess I just wind up not getting the jingle skips here. Yeah. So I go for tackle there. Normally you won't tackle, but had I missed tackle there, I still would have gotten the jingle skips. I don't have the music playing because then I would have my voice from the run playing also and be talking over myself, which would defeat the purpose of the commentary. Wait. Did I just go in without healing? Am I that tilted? There's no way that's correct. Oh my god, I'm so pissed off. I did go in without healing. Holy cow. This is great. I'm loving this. Bind Miss. That's 15% into Bide. I'm risking another, if I must kick in here. Yeah, I'm risking another 50-50. It's Bide lasts 2 or 3 turns. So like if I get a short Bide here, then I'm dead. So I risked 2 50-50s this run in like the first 15 minutes. And didn't even get a jingle skip for it. What a madman. Okay. Just trying to get the split timing correct. Okay, so 1544 Brock, no Pidgey. That's decent. It's not insane, but it's pretty good. We're at like what? 8 HP. So I'm looking for a jingle skip in the next fight. I'm pretty sure my horn attacks are good because I have a lot of horn attacks because I tackled the Sandshrew. But I had a bad Metapod. I had a 5-turn Metapod, but then I didn't get a flyer either. So yeah, I should have like 12 or even 13 horn attacks. But yeah, I mean, getting that jingle skip and not healing for Brock actually saved a pretty significant amount of time. Oh, that high roll. That was a 1 in 39 roll from the Caterpie. But tackle's still good. So looking for Poison Sting here. So we get the string shot, so we pivot to tackle for sure. Second string shot. This is a bit annoying, but we get +3 here from this level up, getting the jingle skip. So it's okay if the Caterpie tackles on turn 1 because he only does 3 each turn. He could critical me here and kill me, but, you know, gotta hold that. Wow, I went for another tackle here. That's a bit risky. I don't know that I agree with that tackle. Because, like, what if I miss and he tackles and I have to heal? Like, that's really bad. You can see me, okay, I'm like, I realize where I am in this run. Like, if you're going to go into Brock without healing, then, like, you should probably go into this fight without healing, too, as far as, like, you know, logically is concerned. But, like, I think I took a step back and realized, like, okay, this run actually has some potential. Like, let's play this correctly. Let's not get crazy. And I healed for this fight. And you can see, I mean, I could have died there just from the quick attack. So, probably good that I decided to reel in the YOLO a little bit. But, I mean, we were just on such a crazy dry spell, man. Like, I can't imagine a world where, like, I'm blaming myself for doing this because, God, it was so bad. That was a really good fight, though. Leer fails the fastest thing that can happen. I mean, I guess quick attack's kind of bad, but we healed for it, so whatever. Yeah, I'm retiming the run as I go. So this is a major difference between, like, red and yellow. In yellow, you're a much higher level and also have access to double kick, so this fight becomes, like, really easy. The fight below this last, he has 4 Pokemon in order, Weedle, Kakuna, Caterpie, Metapod, and those second tier evolutions only know Harden, so you have to burn a ton of horn attacks, and we don't need that experience. So we fight the last and then reset the route, and then she moves back to her original position, so we can move past her without fighting the trainer under her, which is a lot faster. You just don't have the horn attacks to deal with that. So how many horn attacks do I have for this fight? If I have five. Okay, yeah, see, if I have 5 horn attacks for this fight, then it was a mistake to tackle that first Caterpie. Like, that was just straight up wrong. Because if I have to tackle here, it's like whatever. But, you know, if I had to tackle there because I missed, then I was like forced to heal basically, which would have been really bad. So, and then I could have tackled either the Caterpie or the Metapod here. So yeah, a little mistake, but I didn't get punished for it. It's more like a macro mistake rather than something that actually mattered in this run. But that's the kind of gameplay that you like need to have to get consistently good runs. Don't press B. Don't ever press B. I have done that before. Okay, so we don't have a flyer. Flyers are 55% to appear in this bush. Taking a while to get an encounter. Already pretty bad. 55% chance for this to be a Spearow. It's not a Spearow. So encounters occur in cycles that are based on time in Gen 1. So I have to wait for quite a long time, actually, to go forward here. So I go ahead and step to the next bush so that I'll be in the Spearow part of the cycle. And we do get the encounter fast enough for this to be Spearow for sure. So Spearow is only like, what, 1 in 3 to get in the ball from full health. So we need to weaken it to have a more consistent outcome. But unfortunately, we critical. So we didn't get a Spearow first encounter, which is already terrible. And then we also critical the Spearow that we need. We need this for Fly. You have to have Fly. So thankfully, the next encounter is Spearow. But at this point, I've checked out on the run. I'm like, okay, this run's dead, whatever. But let's just see how the Mount Moon goes, like whatever. Really, really unfortunate. I'm thinking the run's dead for sure. Run's dead. Go home, guys. Another run, no surge. But, I'm right in front of Mount Moon. Mount Moon's one of the largest areas of variance in the run. Let's just see how it goes. I mean, it's not that bad. Pika, Pika. I did not get the PC skip there. So we're out of horn attacks. Need to take the center for horn attacks, not health. I do a little turn there to burn my turn frame on a tile where I can't get an encounter. You guys remember I talked before about being able to get an encounter when you turn for the first time after entering movement from a stationary position. So I do that little turn because you can't get an encounter on that first tile. In red, you'll see me fighting these trainers, but in yellow, we've already done all our grinding before Brock to get double kick, so we don't need... Okay, so this is actually interesting. I see the level 7 Zubat, and I just go ahead and kill that. I need some experience in Mount Moon. Usually this Zubat isn't enough, but because we crit the Spearow, that we already have that experience too. So I did make up some of the time because I recognize that I gained a bit of extra experience from that like bad luck critting the Spearow. And it can be hard to find a Geodude because they're kind of a low encounter rate, 15% on this floor. You'll see me turning on the ladder here because you can't get an encounter on the ladder tile either. So you want to turn on the ladder to waste the turn frame. Turn. Your camera shaking? Oh, my bad. My knee was kind of hitting it. Move back a little bit. So we did wind up seeing the Geodude, but this would not have died without a critical. So the Zubat was faster anyway. So that was my third encounter in Mount Moon. Average encounters for all of Mount Moon is about 10.5, give or take. Depending on how many encounters you get, it's a little dynamic, like what the likelihood for your encounters are. But we had 3 so far. So that's really good. World record actually has 4 encounters in Mount Moon. Or did when I was doing this run. So I'm getting pretty excited. You see me wait to evolve until right before I get to the Super Nerd. That's because Nidoking's cries 0.6 seconds longer than Nidorino's. So every time I get an encounter, that cry plays. And then I lose time as a result of that. So if you wait until you actually have to do a fight where you want the stats from Nidoking, you save time for each encounter. The Garmer has disable, so happy to get pounded. So you'll see me switch to double kick here. Notice the animation change from horn attack to double kick. Double kick is a little shake. Dink. And then you'll see me switch back to horn attack here for the coughing to compare the animation. This will be a flash, right? Flash. That flash animation is about 50 frames or 0.9 seconds slower than a shake. So whenever something will die to a single kick of the double kick, it's faster to kill. Wow, that low roll. That was a minimum roll. So like here, I'm shaking. So even with the it's not very effective text, it's still faster to double kick because the animation is so much faster. You still have those shake versus flash animations even when you have the not very even when you have animations off, rather. This game runs at 59.7 frames per second. This fight's a little scary. This Ekans has Wrap and doesn't die to Horn Attack. Wrap's at 1 and 3. But, you know, sometimes you just need to get a little lucky. Yeah, I thought I remembered cutting that. Is it 9.7? I thought it was 59.7. Oh, well. So yeah, that Ekans is one of the better crits in the game. Smogmas is great. We can't double kick that. Yeah. Wouldn't have died to 1 kick. It's interesting to see some of the tiny split variations that I have. It would have made more sense to compare this to my old splits, but it doesn't really matter. I'm really just retiming the run. Yeah, so enemy trainers Pokemon have fixed stats, so they're the same each run. If they had variable stats, things would be very, very different. That would be extremely hard to deal with. Like, what is the chance that this Alakazam outspeeds me after I X-speed kind of like mindset? That would be scary. There's only a 10% chance that this Alakazam rolled high enough DVs to fuck me up. Like, that's something that the Pokemon Coliseum and XD speedruns kind of struggle with because the Shadow Pokemon in that game, they do have random stats, so you'll get some tomfoolery occasionally. So this is what I consider to be the hardest slash most ridiculous fight in the game. This Spearow has Fury Attack, which is terrible. It also has Growl, which is absolutely horrible. This is the worst possible outcome for this fight. It growls at 1 and 4. It turns this Sandshrew into a 4-shot. This Sandshrew only has Scratch and Sand Attack. And Sand Attack is like ridiculously overpowered in this game. Get the Sand Attack fail. Craigasm. And Scratch. So we got really lucky here to get all the way through this Sandshrew with 4 hits because of the Growl. without getting sand attacked. Sand attack brings 100% accuracy move down to 67%. So it's like insane in Gen 1, and getting sand attack is often just run over. I started to believe in this run around Route 3, which we discussed a bit earlier. Get the second growl there, but it wouldn't really have mattered. So that was, I mean, as far as getting growl, that was an amazing fight. Otherwise it was like, okay, we didn't kill the Eevee, which can die in one hit with no growl, and the Sandshrew, we lost a turn as well, but as far as getting growled, that was, my run's not dead, oh my god, thank you, kind of mentality. Nugget Bridge can be a bit of a troll. There are quite a few damage ranges, which I guess we can explain at this point. So when you use an attack, there's a calculation of damage based on your attack, their defense, your level, etc., etc. How much damage you're going to do. But there's also a roll of damage. Like it can do damage between 12.5% down from that calculation or 12.5% up from that calculation. It's a little more complicated than that, but basically damage occurs in a range. So for example, I had around an 80% chance to one-shot that Weedle based on no critical damage alone. Because sometimes I can do more damage and sometimes I can do less. But it's more likely for me to do enough damage to kill it. So that's what's known as a damage range. This Pidgey has a 71% chance to die without criticaling, just based on the damage alone. So, yeah. Very important to kill that Pidgey. We didn't get quick attack from it either, so it's even more important to kill it. Because it has sand attack. Double kick is terrible. You see how slow this is. Not very effective. Shake. Not very effective. Not very effective. Hit 2 times. And then I use double kick to be fast, which is kind of funny. Double kick is the slowest move from the Nidoran, but then I use double kick because it's the shake animation plus only 1 kick would kill there because I got a high roll on the horn attack. But yeah, that double kick wastes 6 seconds. It's so bad to get double kicked, and that's why criticaling that Nidoran is pretty value, but it's okay. Double kick the Rattata because even with super effective techs, the kick is still faster as long as it's only one of the 2 kicks. This Ekans is somewhere around 50-50 to die. It also has Rep, which is really bad. Don't think we kill it. Oh, no, we do kill it. Wow. That's awesome. This bridge was actually solid considering that we did not kill or that we had the bad rival fight. And that Zubat's guaranteed with good attack. And then we always have good attack. So this is why we got the experience in Mount Moon, so that we'd level up to 21 after this fight. We would not have leveled up without the experience, so that we can use our rare candies to get to level 23. A lot of people ask me, why don't you use your rare candies earlier? And the reason for that is, well, the higher level you use your rare candy, the more value you're getting out of it. Using a rare candy at level 99 gives you much more experience than using a candy at level 1. And, there's a less powerful version of that when we use our rare candies at level 21 instead of level 19, for example. But the goal is to get Thrash as soon as possible because Thrash is such an insane move. I'll be using a ton of it, so I'm going to switch it to slot 1 here and then start thrashing. Thrash has 90 power in Gen 1 and it hits for 3 to 4 turns, after which it will confuse you. It's a 50% chance to confuse, or excuse, to confuse after the 3rd turn, 50% after the 4th turn. It's just, what happens. But that's just an insanely powerful move for a Pokemon that, is already at a tier 3 evolution this early in the game. Like you said, I'm fighting Caterpies and Mankeys and Pidgeys, and I'm a fucking Nidoking with Thrash. This is where Nidoking really starts to shine. I mean, it starts to shine because you can use a Moonstone to evolve it early and get this really beefed up Pokemon that doesn't really have, it has a lot of longevity. It has high PP moves in Horn Attack and Thrash. That's another thing about Thrash, is it only uses 1 PP when you use the move at the beginning of the fight for all 3 to 4 turns. So, you can get, a lot of value out of it by not centering for a long time. And it just makes this part of the game trivial. I mean, there's a few little things that can happen, but, this Ekans guaranteed to die. And so is the Zubat. Well, they're also likely to die to Horn Attack, but, you know. Another thing about Thrash is you don't have to choose a move. After the first turn of Thrash, you'll see it'll just Thrash. I don't have to press Fight and then Thrash. It just goes, which is faster. Going to pick up Charmander here. This is specific to yellow. It doesn't exist in red, blue. This Charmander is a very consistent and quick way to get a dig / cut slave. It can also learn strength, but we won't give it strength because you don't want to overwrite moves when you don't have to. Overriding is like, are you sure you'd like to teach over tackle? And then it's like 1, 2, 3, poof. It forgot tackle and learned blah, blah, blah. You can't fight this trainer in red because you don't have double kick. You have to fight the other hiker and go around. But this is faster since we have double kick. Don't get double kick in red. The Nidoking stats are basically perfect due to RNG manipulation. I explained that earlier in the run. But yeah, I think this fight, the next fight, yeah, all these fights, the rest of the fights, we just thrash and everything's guaranteed to die. So. It's just such a crazy move, man. Thrash is so good. It becomes a little obsolete because, you know, if you're not one-shotting things, then you get the problem where, yeah, you are getting confused. But it allows you, like, Thrash allows you to leverage the fact that Nidoking is a little more beefy than the Pokemon that you're generally fighting in the mid-game. So, yeah. It's just beautiful to behold, man. Like, just kind of sitting back and watching Nidoking fuck shit up. Like, this part of the run's kind of boring for a runner because, you know, you're just pressing Thrash frame perfectly or whatever, but that quick attack's kind of bad. I mean, obviously, when you're getting quick attacked, that's, like, slower than if he didn't use quick attack because he's getting the damage in, he's getting the text in. It's, like, 3 seconds or something. So it is annoying to lose chip time to, like, a lot of quick attacks. There is maybe 5 or 6 Pokemon that have quick attack since the beginning of the bridge until the end. So it's likely to get 1 or 2. But not getting any does save some time. Okay, this might be the fight. I don't remember if it was this run or not, but it might be this run. Is it this one? No, okay, it's not. I thought I may have Gen 1 missed here. That must have been on a run earlier this week. I am 0.9 seconds ahead of my old run at this point. I just didn't feel like digging up. I mean, I would have had to, like, make a new set of splits. Well, since Nugget Bridge, yeah. I lost like 8 seconds there. So in red blue, you can actually escape rope out of this room. So you pick up the escape rope in Mount Moon and then escape rope out of here, which is all good and everything. But in yellow, we have to do the walk of shame. So nice slow walk back to Cerulean. But what that allows us to do, since we don't have to set our dig waypoint to Cerulean Center, we can center after Bill. In red, that's not very good because you want to set up red bar. But in yellow, you really just want Misty to be kind of a safe fight. In yellow, since we don't pick up Ice Beam anymore, we can completely skip the Drink Bitch that gives us Rock Slide and Ice Beam if we have high enough HP to just go ahead and skip Rock Slide. So that allows us to kind of react to the fights that Misty and Surge gives us. If we're very low HP, then we can take Red Bar for Jingle Skips all the way through the Ghastlies and just pick up Rock Slide and do it that way. But if we don't take hardly any damage and we're too high HP to ever even consider seeing Red Bar, then we can skip buying and teaching Rock Slide and just Thunderbolt all 4 Ghastlies 2 times, hoping to critical to get the one-shots. And as long as you don't lose turns to like Confuse Ray and Paralyze Troll and stuff, that's actually faster. You just need enough HP to tank some Nightshades because you're likely to get some from the first fight before you get the heal pad. Another thing that sucks about that is if you get paralyzed after the heal pad, you have to burn your full restore, and you really don't want to burn your full restore because healing items are kind of stringent. That Goldeen never dies unless you critical. It's unfortunate because it has Supersonic. We didn't get Supersonic. Misty used to be one of the scariest fights in the run, back when we were running with Nidorans of varying stats. But now that we always run with this like God Nido, this RNG manip Nido, we're always faster than the Starmie by exactly 1 speed point. The Starmie has 56 speed, we have 57 speed. And that requires at least 13 speed DV. We have 14. But you can still die here. Bubble Beam can speed fall you. Bubble Beam can critical you. Bubble Beam is really bad. Just don't want to see Bubble Beam. 1 in 4 to speed fall. Didn't get the speed fall. We lived. We're happy boys. So that's 5 seconds ahead of world record, or old world record, if you're curious. I'll try to update you guys on that as we go, since I was too lazy to create a new set of splits to compare against. Yeah, Misty. Being speed tied with Misty is like almost worse than being slower, for Pokemon Red at least. So we're going to continue our Thrash Rampage, kind of moving through the mid parts of the run. This is where I really start to think like, okay, this run's getting pretty real. You know, we got past Misty. We need to really start considering, you know, our status in this run. What is my time? What Nidoran do I have? How many potions do I have left? What is my current HP based on how the Misty fight went? Am I looking to skip Rock Slide? Start considering these things in a kind of holistic manner. What am I going to do if I get an encounter? Am I going to heal for Surge? What HP do I want to heal for Surge? I start thinking about these things right now. I start kind of shifting my focus away from chat and pushing my focus a bit more into the run. In order to keep my sanity, I need to like not focus too much on Route 1 and resetting for Nidorans that don't get in the ball and dying to too many forest encounters or Mount Moon encounters or whatever it is. I can autopilot that part of the run. But this is where I start shifting my focus a bit into the run heavily. Start considering these things ahead of time. You want to be prepared for your shitty outcomes. You want to be ready. You see me pick up that full restore there. I pick it up on the same frame that the music for this route starts, and it can only play one of those sounds at a time. So instead of having to sit there for the full like doo 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 whatever like item jingle, I can just move instantly if I clear the text box frame perfectly. So that's what we do. Could have gotten an encounter there. It's not worth it to go all the way down to the Cerulean Mart to pick up a repel for that little section. It's better to just go ahead and move through it like that. It's only like 35% to get an encounter or so. All of these Pidgeys have quick attack at 1 in 3. So we're hoping I'm looking to not heal for Surge here. My HP is actually quite good. To not heal for Surge and still get a potential red bar setup from, say, Mega Kick would be pretty good from here. Yeah, it is frame perfectly. You buffer it. Frame perfectly is accurate. So 3 Pidgeys all have a 1 in 3 chance to quick attack. None of them quick attack. So we have 2 more quick attacks left on this like potential places to take damage left before Surge, which is this Raticate, and then 1 more Rattata, which both quick attack at 1 out of 4. So really hoping to not see quick attack so I don't have to even consider healing for Surge, because like, you know, maybe we don't want to heal for Surge. even if we're on this really solid pace. But we do get quick attack, and even worse, it... Oh no, okay, that's not this run. It didn't critical. It did not critical. But 38 HP is getting a little more scary, because we're dead to... Okay, so like Surge has Thunderbolt, Growl, Mega Punch, and Mega Kick. And between those, basically any combination of the 2 damage moves will kill me. Do all our selling here. Fast scroll down to repels, buy enough to get through Rock Tunnel so we can make it to Celadon and buy super repels. And head out of here. Gonna do the trick again where I menu before turning so that I save the turn frame. We need to it's kind of silly that we open the menu for this. Just like you generally want to do like as many things in your menu as possible, but there's like I have to teach Bubble Beam. I need Bubble Beam for this fight, and like there's nothing really else to do in the menu since you're forced to do another menu at the cut bush at Surge because you have to open your menu to actually use cut in this game. So yeah, just have to open your menu and teach Bubble Beam. It looks a little bad, but it's okay. That's what you do. And yeah, there's a Sandshrew in this fight that only dies to Bubble Beam, and it has like Slash and Sand Attack and shit. Definitely need Bubble Beam for this fight. And it's also faster to Bubble Beam the Rattata since it always dies to it, since it's a shake animation with no super effective text, whereas Double Kick would have the super effective text. You want to avoid super effective text whenever possible, which gets a little more relevant later in the run. Don't thrash. This is one of the fights where if you thrash, you're fucked. Because, okay, you thrash, the Spearow dies. You know, you're feeling pretty good about yourself. And you thrash again, because it's still going. And the Rattata dies, and you're feeling pretty good about yourself. And then you get to this Sandshrew, and Thrash comes out, and it does like 40% of its health. And then the Sandshrew sand attacks you, and then you're confused, and then you miss, and then you have this Eevee. It's terrible. It's fucking terrible. If you get a 4-turn Thrash and crit the Eevee and the Sandshrew, which I have accidentally done before, then it is faster. But, I mean, what are you playing for, you know? 4-turn Thrash and 2 crits. That's like 1 in 100. So, yeah, button mashing is something that you definitely need to get accustomed to. I explained that earlier in the run. But yeah, that Spearow speaks lies into your ear. Just thrash me. Thrash me. It'll be okay. But you can't listen. Okay, this is the moment of truth. Do we get the Sailor Kiss? Mwah! Parker-san will be satisfied. Do 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 do. This fucking cutscene, man. Boop, boop. Yeah, 47-minute boat is pretty sick. This is sub 4830 fan club. That's what's up. It doesn't matter if you do the fan club before or after Surge in this game because you can't dig out of this building like you can in Red. Just mash through this cutscene. Need the bike voucher to get the bike. So this is going to be our first major menu of the run. I'm going to swap my first item, potions, which I'll not use very much anymore, with repels. That I'm going to use 3 times while I'm going down to the bottom of my menu anyway to teach cut. You see me, I actually pussy out here. That was a mistake, clicking on potion again. I pussy out there and potion for Surge. That's because I didn't get an encounter. I only got one quick attack. This pace is really good. I know that I can play around the fact that, like, I have enough time to potion. I was actually really heavily debating this play during the run. Like, do I want to potion for Surge? I have 3 potions left. I have the time to potion. My goal time is still very achievable if I potion. So I did actually decide to go ahead and potion there. And it was probably the toughest decision I had to make in this run. Like, just because it looks so bad, because I do actually wind up getting the Surge fight where I take no damage, which is like pretty common. And this run, I'm not looking to skip Rock Slide, even with my high HP, because I don't need to take that risk. So, like, I'm purely playing around, like, do I take 2 instances of damage in this fight, which is, like, pretty unlikely, considering that both moves that he can even use to damage you can both miss. So, I got my goal time, despite healing, which means it's probably correct. But that's being pretty results-oriented. But we got the X speed into Thunderbolt because Surge's AI is retarded. I had a really late split there. So I am 20.2 seconds ahead of world record now. And that made me feel really good about my decision to potion there, because I'm like, okay, I'm like 20 seconds ahead. I only need to be like, 15 ahead to be on like my goal time pace, which was a 1:55 whatever real time. So yeah, I felt pretty good about the decision there. You can't just dig anywhere. You have to dig from somewhere. So I move into Diglet Cave here to get the dig back to Cerulean. We need to get the bike and then head over to Rock Tunnel. So it just makes sense to teleport back here. This will be another major menu that we're going to do. I'm going to swap my second slot item with bike, and then since I'm going all the way to the bottom of my menu to teach Thunderbolt anyway, so swap all the way to the bottom and then teach Thunderbolt. When you use the last of an item stack in your inventory, it clears you back to the top of your inventory automatically. So since I swapped the bike to the top, I'll now use the bike that's at the top of my inventory. That gives you a good idea of like how we're looking to optimize menus, moving efficiently to the bottom since we need to teach Thunderbolt anyway, and moving an item that we need to like use often, swapping it to the top, and then coming back to the top by using the last stack of an item, Thunderbolt, or the last of an item in a stack, and then using the item that we switched. So it's interesting to see how that works, because you actually have to open your menu to use the bike and open your menu to use cut and dig or whatever in this game. So this is the only fight in the game where we are 100% guaranteed to need a 4-turn Thrash. So there's a 50% chance that I get a 4-turn Thrash, and if I don't get the 4-turn Thrash, then there's a 50% chance that I hurt myself in Confusion. And if that happens, then the Bellsprout has Wrap, it has Sleep Powder, it's fucking terrible. I've lost 2 minutes to this fight before. So, in your head, you're just thinking like 4-turn Thrash, 4-turn Thrash, 4-turn Thrash, 4-turn Thrash. If you have to select the move, you didn't get it. But we got it. We fucking got it. It's so scary. That fight is terrifying, especially when you're going in red bar. The first Pokemon doesn't die to Horn Attack, so you actually have to Thrash. I don't think I've explained this yet either, but like you see me talking to trainers, because if you walk in front of them, you get the little exclamation point and the jingle, like, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. And then, it like just takes unnecessary time. So even if you have to take a step or two to talk to them, it's faster than letting them see you. You see me take the safe strat here. This Venonat is like 80% to die to Thrash, but if it doesn't die, then I would be forced to get a 4-turn Thrash. So I Thunderbolt first, which always kills, but that's slower because like you're choosing Thunderbolt and then choosing Thrash, which is like, 1 away each time. And then it's 1 extra turn where you have to choose a move because Thrash chooses its own move. So yeah. Gonna repel out here because in order to buffer or open your menu on the first actionable frame, you need to be en route from one tile to the next and hold start. That's how you buffer. if I were to try to buffer in Rock Tunnel, I'd have to take a step and then risk getting an encounter, and my repel lasts long enough anyway. So it looks a little weird to repel outside, but because of the way that buffering works, it's faster to do it that way. And obviously, we don't have any time to go catch 10 Pokemon and pick up the Flash TM and catch a Pokemon to use it and teach it and shit. So we do Rock Tunnel in the dark. It's actually pretty easy, if you practice it a bit. What's hard is doing it frame perfectly, which I do believe this run did have a frame perfect Rock Tunnel, but I can't really tell without having the sound on. If I took an extra step or something, I'll notice. Where was the time save? I'm comparing against world record splits. So that's why all the splits are like, uniform. So this is the gatekeeper. This Oddish has a 46% chance to die, and then, you have the chance to critical, 16.4%. And then, yeah. So this is easily the worst thing that happened in the run, and that's including the Spearow. Miss the range, get Stun Spore, get paralyzed. Absolutely fucking horrible for this run. Now we're slower than the Oddish. We're slower than the Bulbasaur. And since we're slower than everything for the rest of Rock Tunnel, we have to burn our full restore. There is no way around this. So our healing items, since we skip the Nugget in the underground now to skip, picking it up and buying all those super potions, our healing items are very, very, very strict. It's important that we don't waste healing items. So this is terrible. So we go down here, use our full restore. And this runs on very good pace. So yeah, I'm feeling really bad about that. But we have enough of a lead to where I'm keeping a positive attitude right now. I'm like, okay, guys, that was really bad, but we need to start thinking about our options. We need to start thinking, okay, how can I be okay, even though that this happened? You see me use a repel there kind of close to each other. That's because I had to use a third repel. It won't last all the way to the end of Rock Tunnel. But you don't want your repel to wear out, because then it says repel wore out, and then you have to open your menu. In this game, you just repel over the old repel and avoid the repel wearing out text, which wastes probably 2 seconds. So yeah, that was really bad. Really, 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 really bad. In this run, we generally pick up the 6 potions at the beginning of the game, of which you'll generally have 2 left over, 3 super potions, and 2 full restores for the entire game. So the 2 major things that went wrong with this run were don't encounter Spearow, crit Spearow, finally catch Spearow, and then getting paralyzed by the Oddish. This was a really, really solid run besides that. But that made it really hard, honestly. We had to push our luck a little bit in the late game, which you'll see, but man, that sucked. Overall, though, this run's been pretty well executed. I mean, we had 2 little minor menu blips so far, but I don't think I've actually made a movement error yet. So, I mean, you could always have played better, and I did make a mistake or 2 in the late game. 57-53 Rock Tunnel, pretty amazing. Sub 58, it's amazing, for sure. So even considering we got the paralyzed, we didn't get fully paralyzed, we didn't get growled, we didn't, none of that tomfoolery. This Growlithe is about 90% to die to Bubble Beam and about 67% to die to Thrash. And we missed the fucking range. I'm pretty tilted at this point. I'm on a sick ass run, and then I'm missing 90% range and the 46% Oddish range, and get Stun Spored. I'm having trouble keeping it together at this point. It's my face right now in the world record video is it's bad. So here I'm going to count my bike pedals I'll try to explain how I do this. Counting horizontal bike pedals, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Right there. On that 13th bike pedal, I go down. And that's how I pick up that elixir every time. A lot of people try to use sound cues or whatever, but if you're not counting bike pedals, you're doing it wrong, in my opinion. I almost never miss it. That is the superior way to go about it. I pick up the PP up in the same way. I do left, right bike pedals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is our big shopping trip. This is kind of a hallmark of Pokemon speedruns, where we spend all our fucking money in one place buying a ton of shit that we need for the rest of the run. Every item that I buy here is planned out based on this run. And the order that I buy it in is planned out as well. So even though I'm full HP, I recognize that this run is good enough to where I still am more comfortable picking up Rock Slide. I don't need to take the risk of skipping it. And I'll explain a little bit more like what that risk is as we get to the Ghastlies. Previously, we'd pick up Ice Beam by giving her a Freshwater, but we skipped that in favor of Blizzard now, which allows us to do quite a few things, actually. And that was kind of Exarian's work originally in coming up with the idea of like using Blizzard for its extra power. But the real genius behind Exarian's route is the XP route that goes along with that. It's pretty amazing, and I'll explain why that is later in the run. But yeah, as you'll see, I'll have like, what, $284 left, so I couldn't have actually bought anything else this run. So, used all of my money wisely. Take that movement there so that bitch can't block you, even if she, like, moves unexpectedly. So we were 20.2 seconds ahead going into the split, and now we are 5 point. So we lost 15 seconds here. So this is a big menu. Swap second item for Super Repel, Teach Fly. Since an HM stays in your inventory, you stay at the bottom of your inventory. But then we teach Horn Drill, which is a TM, so we lose that stack and go back to the top of our menu, where we will use a Super Repel that we just swapped to the top, and then swap another item, our third slot, for X Accuracy. I actually passed that up there. That was a small mistake. So that was a reasonable menu, but kind of annoying that I made that mistake. So you see the general idea of these menus is effectively moving to the top and bottom of our inventory, since there's no like real good way to do that other than like the small techniques we have, like using the last of a stack and such. And then swapping big stacks of items that we're going to use really often to the top of our inventory, so we don't have to scroll as far down to use them each time. X Accuracy I'll be using 11 times, and Super Repel I'll be using 10 times. So it's important to keep those big stack items near the top. And you'll see right away in this fight, we're going to use X Accuracy. It's just 2 down instead of scroll, X Accuracy, which we'd have to do like a bunch of times throughout the run. That were some of the later stages of optimization when it came to menuing in this game. Just ding, ding, quick, nice and fast. Learfel's the fastest thing that can happen there. He has Fury Attack at 1 in 4. I'm glad you guys are learning a few things about menuing. Red menuing is even more complicated. Red has more techniques that are applicable. Okay, so time to talk about X Accuracy. Many of you may know this, but for those of you who don't, X Accuracy, the way X Accuracy works in Gen 1 is the game checks for accuracy, right? It rolls a value, and then based on what that value is between 0 and 255, it says, do you hit? What X Accuracy does is it removes that check. The game no longer checks to see if you hit or if you don't hit. It just fucking hits every time with one use of X Accuracy. So what that means is that if you X accuracy, then Horn Drill will always hit. Now there is one more requirement for Horn Drill to work, and in later games that requirement is you must be a higher level than the opponent you're Horn Drilling. Just be a higher level and you won't get the unaffected text. In this game you need to be faster than the opponent that you're Horn Drilling. You need to go first, and then that allows you to hit the one-hit KO move. If you're not, it'll give you an unaffected text, which will actually abuse from the AI. Later in the run. So X accuracy is the most expensive X item. It costs 950 compared to X attacks 500 and X specials 350. So it is a big investment to throw all your money into 11 X accuracies, but it's well worth it. Something else to note is that a lot of people think, oh, that must be a bug. You know, it removes the accuracy check. That can't be right. But in Gen 2, X accuracy works the exact same way. So it is very much intended for it to work this way. Not that it matters whether it's intended or not, but you know, you might be curious to know. So we hit the heal pad there. You can't really skip that without fighting that trainer right above me here. So it's not worth it. Just take the free heal. So you have seen me using Rock Slide on the Ghastlies so far, right? And that one hits, it has a 90% accuracy. The only thing about Rock Slide that sucks is that when you teach Rock Slide, you're only teaching it for these 4 Ghastlies that you have to get through. If you skip Rock Slide, then you're Thunderbolting these Ghastlies instead, and because the special stat in this game is special attack and special defense, it's one stat. The Ghastlies have extremely high defense when you're using a special move, so they only die in 2 turns or 1 turn if you critical. Their moveset is Confuse Ray, Lick, and Nightshade. Confuse Ray is bad, obviously, because you're confused, and then Nightshade is good because it's just damage, but then Lick Paralyze. Lick Paralyze forces you to use a full restore because when you go into, you remember I talked about you have to be faster to Horn Drill. In this next fight against the Rockets, I'm going to be Horn Drilling, and if I'm paralyzed, it doesn't work, so it's fucked. You'll see me do another quick menu swap here. Hold down to get the fast scroll, swap the item under X accuracy for X speed, and then use Polka Doll, which is on the way, just everything on the way. And yeah, you saw me use the Polka Doll to get past the Marowak there. That is using the Polka Doll for its intended purpose of running from any wild encounter. And what the Polka Doll does is it flags that battle as a win. And when it flags the Marowak battle as a win, you can get past him without needing the Sylph Scope, which allows us to skip the underground Celadon segment. Payday is the worst thing that can happen there because it gives the coin scattered text box and then picked up money at the end of the fight, which is like a loss of nearly a second. But it's whatever, you know. What can you do? I forget. Yeah, I used Rock Slide and had reasonable menus here, so I probably saved a bit of time on world record. You saw me stutter there a little bit when the money pickup text box happened because I forgot it was coming. Wasn't mashing. Just an example of how important mashing is. If you did that like several times throughout the course of the run, you'd start losing a lot of time. So yeah, I saved like a second there on world record. It's a pretty good split. 6.4 seconds ahead of world record now. Whoa, that mistake. I pressed 2 down to get to Charmander instead of one down to get to Spearow. The sub alert pop up actually blocked that a bit, but yeah, I actually made a pretty big mistake there. I wasted like 1 second. Pressing 2 down to get to the Charmander instead of 1 down, and then I used Dig instead of using Fly. Pretty bad, actually. But, you know, what can you do besides be better next time? I'd never make that mistake. That's interesting. So this is one of the tougher tricks in the game. The elevator fast scroll in yellow is really hard. You can't double register in the Pokemon menu. It was my fault. Do I get the fast scroll? I do. Nice. That was a really fast elevator. All right, that made up for it. That made up for the mistake. So you have to be like holding down when you interact with the elevator, which means you have to buffer the A input, which is kind of a tight window. Not really, though. It just feels hard. It's not actually hard. But like, if you fuck that up, you start walking down, which wastes time, and it only saves like half a second maybe to do that. But yeah, that was a good elevator. So this Machoke fight is actually reasonably important because it's hard to... the next fight can be hard if you take damage here because you need to be able to tank 2 slashes at times. But we get Leer Fail, which is by far the best thing that can happen. Leer failing is faster than it hitting, and Leering in the first place would have been amazing. So this is the only optional fight that we fight in the game after Brock, and it's because there's a fucking gold mine of items behind him. The Earthquake TM, a rare candy, and a very important Carbos, which is the item that increases your speed stat XP. Another quick menu here. Swap the item below X speed for X attack, and then go down to Earthquake. Hopefully by now you're getting an idea of like how I'm thinking about menus, you know? Swap items that I need often from low to high as I'm on my way to use an item that's low in my inventory anyway, that there's not really anything I can do about it being down there just because of like when we pick it up in the run. And it's also important to teach Earthquake there because this Arbok has Glare and it doesn't die to anything else. So... yeah, this Arbok is a huge bitch if you don't have Earthquake. Okay, so if you remember before I used my full restore, normally we have access to that full restore right now. So as I'm moving forward, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I have 2 potions, I have 3 super potions, I have 1 full restore. How am I going to kind of leverage the fact that I'm on a really good pace run, but my healing items are hurting a bit? You know, I don't need to take the risks that I'd often take without healing this run. I actually want to be healing because I have enough time to play around it. So what I'm thinking to myself at this point is, man, I really hope I get a good Silph Go, because normally you take a lot of damage in Silph Co and wind up having to full restore before Koga, but if I could just avoid doing that, then it would be like a normal run where I took a lot of damage in Silph Co, which is something that you kind of expect to happen. So the biggest place that you take damage is from this Sand Slash slashing the fuck out of you. It's got 3 moves. One of them, Slash, it does about 55 damage. But we need to set up an X accuracy. Sand Attack's amazing. No damage. And then Swift. Very good. Took very little damage there. We have to set up our X accuracy and the X speed on the Sand Slash, because this Cloyster can clamp you or Aurora Beam you, which wrecks you. And then if you try to set up X speed on the Magneton, it has Supersonic, which can wreck you as well. You'll see me using Horn Drill on the Pokemon where Earthquake would be super effective against. And I'm going to use Earthquake on the Kadabra because it's the only Pokemon that would die to Earthquake in this fight that doesn't yield super effective text. So you have Flareon and Magneton, right, that I Earthquaked. And both of those have the super effective text. So that skips out on that text box. So 17 damage taken there. Really, really good. So there's 2 options for Surf and Strength Slaves in this run. Squirtle in Vermilion and Lapras here. Lapras, the guy that gives you Lapras, talks more than Officer Ginny does, when she gives you the Squirtle. But the Squirtle knows 3 moves and the Lapras knows 2. And we need to give it Surf and Strength. So, did I just bonk into that wall? I think I did. And it's faster to get a little more text from the interaction than it is to have to overwrite a move. Overwrite one of the Squirtle's moves to teach Surf or Strength. So we get Lapras instead. Saves like 3, maybe 4 seconds. Another fight where Earthquake is just good. I mean, this fight would suck without Earthquake. You'd have to X accuracy here, I guess. So this next fight coming up can be quite trolly. You need to set up an X attack, but it's not enough to be faster than the Persian. And the Persian has Bite, which can it's faster than you. The Bite has it can flinch you. It can do a ton of damage to you with a critical. It can growl you, which is by far the worst outcome because then the Persian and the Nidoqueen don't die. The Nidorino that you set up the X attack on has Fury attack, which takes forever. This fight is actually quite trolly. So fast scroll down, holding down to X attack. Get Focus Energy. Focus Energy is great. Take the Nidorino out. Awesome. Then we have the Persian. Literally anything but Growl or Bite Flinch, which is unlikely. 10% is here. Is fine. And we get the Guard Spec. Guard Spec's 1 in 4 until he has a 1 in 4 chance to use Guard Spec instead of using a move, which means this fight went really well. That was about as good as I can go. And the double Guard Spec's a little faster, but you know, can't complain about that. And this Nidoqueen has Body Slam, so if you get growled, you can get paralyzed. It's just so shitty. So we're 12.9 seconds ahead of world record now. At this point, feeling really good about this run. So this menu is Repel, Elixir, and Poke Flute, I believe. Yeah, because we don't need to heal. Elixir, 2 up, and Poke Flute. That was a good menu. We are lacking a full restore that's normally in our inventory there, so you know these are slightly faster menus since we need to scroll through like one less item, but obviously not worth the loss of the full restore itself. Considering that we need to scroll further down to get to the full restore later in the run anyway, so let's see if I picked up the rare candy frame perfectly this run. Nope. Okay, so like I used to get that right every single time, but recently I had some Game Boy SP issues and it gave out on me right as I was on this route. And if you don't press any buttons while you're on cycling path, it defaults you down. So my Game Boy gave out on a sick run, and like a run that was like as good as this one, and I just hit that trainer below me. So I've been fucking paranoid about hitting that guy recently. So it took a little extra time, I guess. I don't know. I haven't gotten over it yet. I'm a fucking pussy. That's weird. I usually don't go up on that tile. I go up on the tile to the right. Technically better to do it that way because you have less of a chance of accidentally walking into the building. So as counterintuitive as it may seem, you know, we go in the Safari Zone and then we use Repel immediately. Thank God it actually works. The encounter... Okay, so I guess I can talk about some different encounter rates. The encounter rate for normal grass is 25 out of 256, or about 10% to get an encounter per tile. In Mount Moon, it's 10 out of 256, or about 4% to get an encounter per tile. But in the Safari Zone, the encounter density per tile is 30 out of 256, so it's like the highest of any zone, basically. And that means if you couldn't use Repellus here, you'd get a ton of encounters. Menuing before I have to turn in this zone so that I save the turn frame. Repelling before the repel wears out so that I don't get the repel wear out text. Making very careful not to make a dumb movement error. And good Safari Zone. Cannot fly out of the Safari Zone. You have to dig out. And we already opened up the fly point to Fuchsia by going there, so we can just fly back there. You can't get a perfect Nidoran in the Safari Zone, but you can get a Nidoran that would be shiny if you traded it to Gen 2 in the Safari Zone, which you can't in normal bushes. I haven't actually confirmed that for myself, but I heard that was true. This fight's free, as long as you don't Gen 1 miss. Just Earthquake 4 times. If you do start Gen 1 missing, your Earthquake PP gets a little tight, though. So we're really happy with our HP value right now, and we need the Hypno to not fuck us, because we don't want to heal before Koga, since we're a full restored down from the Oddish earlier in the run. Really looking to not heal. I explained this earlier in the run, but a Gen 1 miss is a 1 in 256 chance for any move to miss. The reason that occurs is the game uses a greater than instead of a greater than or equal to sign when comparing the accuracy roll from 0. So you can roll 0 to 255 for accuracy, and if you roll exactly 0, then due to the lack of a greater than or equal to sign, you miss even though it's supposed to have 100% accuracy. So this fight's scary. The Hypno has Confusion, which does like 60 damage. Or it can confuse you, or it can critical you, which would almost kill me from here, but it wouldn't quite kill him. Really hoping to critical the Hypno more than anything, because it never dies. But Poison Gas works too. Finish it off with a Shake move instead of a Flash move. This is similar to Horn Attack versus Double Kick from earlier in the run. So this is where Exarian's routing really comes into play. You level to 39 right there, which is extremely important because you need to rare candy exactly twice here. Leaving one behind is not to get the gym leader TM, which I'll talk about in a second. And then use Surf, since you're already near the bottom of your menu. That was a really fast menu too. This is where the beginning of the change of the Blizzard route really comes into play, as those rare candies. So Koga has a 1 in 4 chance to use X attack. That's what you're hoping for, because that's just a free turn. But that's fine too. We still need to set up an X speed here, but this Venonat has Sleep Powder at 50-50, so we set up on the second Venonat instead. We do see Psychic, which is the most damage that you can generally take from this fight, but neither of them critical, and we didn't get a special fall. So that was a good fight, considering that you can just get chain Sleep Powdered because the AI cheats. So happy about that. And yeah, that was just the beginning of how our XP route kind of changes, using those rare candies a bit earlier than we would in the past. And I'll try to explain a little bit more about that. Okay, so 21.7 seconds ahead of world record at this point. Candying to level 41 right there isn't necessarily as much about the levels right now. It's about when I'm going to level up later in the run. And I'll explain why that is as we get to those fights. But all I'll explain for now is that it is when you level up, like which Pokemon you level up on and on what fight you level up is very important for this run. Not only because of like when you want to rare candy, but for other reasons as well, revolving around badge boosts, which I haven't actually talked about badge boosts at all yet. It looks a little weird that I'm going to repel here, but it's to save a menu later because our repel is going to last long enough anyway. And we can do that because we already taught Surf. Just a quick little puzzle there. I mean, just got to memorize it. It's not hard. So this is the only fight in the game that is 100%, no matter what, impossible to lose. She leads an Abra that only uses Flash, and you set up an X speed and an X accuracy so you can't miss. So it's actually impossible to lose unless you hit the wrong move. And even then, you can still usually win. Remember that X accuracy completely removes an accuracy check, so those flashes are completely irrelevant. Doesn't matter if they hit or miss. Well, missing is faster because fail is faster, but yeah. Elixir during the fight was never a good strat. The only reason Elixir during the fight was a good strat was because of unoptimal menu usage prior to that. It was a good strat if you did that menu optimization, though. You cannot Gen 1 miss with an X accuracy, that's correct. Okay, so when I said it saved me a menu to repel before, this is what I mean. Normally we would hop on our bike and then repel here, but it's actually faster to just walk to the water if you don't have to menu. Since we already have a repel active, we can do it like this. Wow, that mistake. I didn't actually use the dig, though. So we've probably made like 5 seconds of errors this run. I can accept that. You know, not too absolutely horrible. Could have been better. A badge boost. I gotta explain some other stuff first about the mansion, but I'll explain badge boosts as I'm doing the Blaine questions. Okay, so re-repel here right before it wears out. Then we need to open up a slot in our inventory. So we're going to use the Carbos that we picked up. This was also a very important heal too. Nice mistake. So now we made another mistake using the Poke Flute there. But I'm kind of feeling myself right now. You know, I'm feeling this run. I'm confident about my inputs. I didn't let it get to me. So it's important to note that repel only works on Pokemon. Why not dig in front of Sabrina? Because if you dig on the teleporter pad, it gives you the teleporter animation instead of the dig animation, which is faster. So it's important to note that repel only works on Pokemon that you are higher level than, and it works off your lead Pokemon. So there are level 43 and level 46 Raticates in this mansion that I think they have added up like a 10% chance to encounter. So I can get encounters in here, and those waste like 11 seconds because there's a lot of lag with getting an encounter in here. So on average, you'll get about 1 encounter, but it's like really bad to get more than that. And if I had gotten exactly 1 encounter here, I would have had to take another risk to get my goal time. Like I wouldn't have been able to super potion there. So you notice that I super potion there for Blaine. That's because I have the pace. I'm 20.4 seconds ahead of world record right now. I have enough time to go ahead and use a super potion so that I can tank Flamethrower if necessary. I wouldn't have been in red bar even if I got hit by Flamethrower. So it's important. So here will be our last like major menu of the run. Gonna swap for X special, nice passing it up there. That was kind of slow, but it's okay. So with the Poke Flute, I don't think we make any more major mistakes this run. It looks like we made maybe 7 to 8 seconds of mistakes this run, which is actually pretty bad for a world record level run, in my opinion. You see Repel wear out on the last tile of the mansion there. But yeah, 0 encounter mansion. Feeling fucking amazing about that right now. I know for sure this is pace. Like, it's really hard to lose pace at this point. So a lot of people ask me why I do the mansion before I do Erica. And this is part of the Blizzard strats routing. You saw I taught Strength and Blizzard there since I was near the bottom of my inventory where both of those TM/HMs were. This execute dies to Ice Beam also. But Blizzard starts making its debut on Erica right away. Because normally the old strat was to X special and then Ice Beam twice, which allows her to use Mega Drain or Vine Whip, which are not very effective moves. So they're slow and they deal damage. They can critical and they have the extra text box. So what we do instead is we use Blizzard. Blizzard has 90% accuracy in Gen 1, so it's reliable enough. And that allows us to skip X Specialing because the other two Pokemon die to Earthquake, which we have exactly 2 Earthquakes left. So you just got to hit the Blizzard, and it's fine. You can actually miss Blizzard there, and it's okay. You can also Blizzard the other 2 Pokemon, and those are Shake animations instead of flashes, but it's not worth it. Okay, so 26.8 seconds ahead of world record at this point. And I'm fucking feeling it. I've explained that a few times this run. So, okay, so this is one of the less optimal menus in this run. I'm thinking, okay, Elixir's going to be in the same slot, right, as it normally is. And then I realized because I lost my full restore earlier in the run, my Elixir is actually in a different slot. So that menu was kind of slow, but whatever. Yeah, I would say this was a solid 8 seconds of mistakes. Okay, so as we go through these, and since this is the last gym leader that gives you one, I'll go ahead and talk about badge boosts. I should have done this earlier, but it's important for the rest of the run too. So there are 4 gym leaders in this game that give you a badge boost for each of the 4 major stats: attack, defense, speed, and special. So what a badge boost does is it naturally increases your whatever stat is affected by 9/8, 12.5% at all times. So Brock gives you the attack badge boost. Surge gives you the defense badge boost, despite saying he gives you the speed badge boost. Koga gives you the speed badge boost, and Blaine gives you the special badge boost. However, due to poor coding mechanics, or whatever the fuck they decided to do with this game, it was not intentional, I don't believe. Whenever one of your stats need to be recalculated due to using X special or getting growled or whatever it is, whichever stats that you've acquired the badge boost for that aren't affected by that move have their badge boost recalculated and redoubled for the rest of that fight unless you level up. And that's why the XP route is very, very important, because you need to preserve those badge boosts at specific times during the run. For example, here, I'm going to use an X attack, and that's going to give me a speed badge boost to be faster than the Rapidash and the Arcanine. But we get Confuse Ray, so we're fucking terrified. We are terrified right now. Hit through the first confusion. Okay, this Rapidash has Stomp. It has Takedown. It's slow as fuck. It has Fire Spin, which is terrible. So confused. hit through. I'm thinking, oh, my heart is pounding. 160 heart rate right now. I'm freaking the fuck out. Still confused. I'm like, wake up, snap out, snap the fuck out. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Get fucked, Blaine. That Arcanine has Reflect. It has Fire Blast. It's so good. It's so fucking good. Oh my god, man. 1 in 8 chance to hit through all 3 of those. But like, I could have also woken up, so it's not quite 1 in 8. I could have woken up twice. Ninetales knows Flamethrower, Confuse Ray, Tail Whip, and Quick Attack. Rhyhorn always dies. Not a consequential fight. Okay, so this fight is a little trolly because you need to hit 2 blizzards and the Machokes can do damage to you. And like, you want your HP to be at a point where if you take damage from Giovanni, you'll be in red bar, because the rival fight that's coming up, like the optimal setup, you don't take damage. And if you do take damage or like something goes wrong, you're fucked anyway. Oh no, I actually made another mistake there. Wow. So I made 9 or 10 seconds of mistakes this run. I'm honestly pretty upset about that. And then we got criticaled by Karate Chop, which was by far the worst thing that possibly could have happened there. Because now we have to use a potion to get out of the range where Earthquake or Dig from the Dugtrio will kill us, even though we're going to rare candy a few times. So this is another point of the XP route that's important, right? We level up to level 45 right after this Machoke, and so now we get the full value out of our rare candies. We go 1, 2, 3 with our rare candies, all the way to 48 at the bottom of a level. So we have to use a potion here to get back into range to not die to the Dugtrio. Go down and use our rare candies. Now, we're going to use the last of our stack, right? Which means that we would now, notice I'm at 104 HP. We use the last of our stack, which means that if we go into Giovanni and we beat him, he'll now give to us and explain to us his TM, which takes a lot of time. So we pick up the Revive to avoid that from happening. And it's also faster to walk out of the gym by going down on that little skater tile or whatever the fuck you call it. So the maximum damage that Dugtrio can do to me is 104 with Digger Earthquake. They have the same power. So Dugtrio has 3 moves that he can hit me with that he can use due to his good AI: Earthquake, Dig, and Fissure. And he also has a 1 in 4 chance to use Guard Spec instead of either of those. So here I'm going to use an X special to give me enough defense badge boost to tank the Earthquake, enough speed badge boost to be faster than the Dugtrio, which is why he gave me the unaffected text with Fissure there. Remember, you have to be faster for a one-hit KO move to work. And enough special to one-shot the Rhydon with Blizzard. Now we get Slash here, which is generally very bad, but because I managed my HP perfectly, I actually got put into red bar from a high roll from Slash here, which got me quite a few jingle skips. And actually, if I didn't get these jingle skips, it would have been like extremely close to not being my goal time. So the way that I managed my HP this run was actually quite relevant. And Blizzard to finish off the Rhydon. So the badge boosts here are very important. Actually, the special badge boost there is irrelevant because or no, it's not, because we use an X special. So yeah, that fight is crazy because it's an example of all the benefits you get from badge boosting. Special from the X special. speed from the X special to be faster than the Doug Trio and the Persian, and defense enough to tank Earthquake or Dig were it to come out. So this fight's a bit scary. We need to hit a Blizzard right away. And if we don't hit that Blizzard, then we're probably dead to Swift or Slash. And Fury Swipes is bad, even if we're not. And then we have to set up an X accuracy on the Execute. The Execute has like Leech Seed, Solar Beam, some other dumb shit that doesn't do anything, and then Stun Spore, which is fucking rip. But it's just so fast to like kill the Sand Slash and set up on the Execute because you don't have to heal and you get to keep your jingle skips. So I set up an X accuracy on the Execute. He gives me Leech Seed. Awesome. I actually make a mistake here. I was meant to Blizzard that Execute to save the super effective, or excuse me, to save the shake animation from an Earthquake that I'll have to use later in the fight now, but it's whatever. I was like, my heart was fucking pounding. I could hardly think straight. I'm 28.5 seconds ahead of world record right now, by the way. So I'd normally drill this Magneton instead of Earthquaking it, and the shake animation from the Horn Drill and no super effective text is a bit faster, but it's okay. Earthquake plus Dig plus Slash would have killed me on Giovanni, yes, but you don't play around him using Slash if you take damage from the Doug Trio because you have Red Bar set up already. No, so yeah, so I'd say about 10 seconds of mistakes this run. Pretty bad. I'm actually kind of disappointed in myself, but I got my goal time anyway, and that's what matters. I love the music at this part, but, you know, I'm obviously just imagining it. Yeah, I'll be doing red runs after this. So, you could, because I'm in red bar, think about picking up that Max Ether, using it on Horn Drill, and skipping the Elite Four Center to preserve red bar. But I just don't need it. I don't need to risk this run on 1 and 3. I already have the pace. I'm nearly 30 seconds ahead of world record, and I need to save about 1 minute and 2 seconds. But I have like a minute of time save in E4, so this is like free pace, and I play the Elite Four pretty safely considering. Gonna do the menu technique where I take a step to buffer and then menu before turning to kill the turn frame. And we boulder push. How come the champion fight, all the animations are back on? Because it's the champion fight and all the animations come back on. And that's how it works. I'll answer a few questions from chat now. There's not too much to explain other than that we boulder push. I will explain one thing, though, which is that the repel coming up in the next room. Ooh, nice mistake. Okay, so this repel here is optimal because if you want your repel to last until the end of the next room, you have to move perfectly. You can only induce 1 extra turn frame, and you can't take any extra steps at all. If you don't want your repel text to wear out, which wastes time, and you have to do another extra menu to open or to like do another repel. Same thing here, menuing before turning while buffering. It's kind of nerve-wracking to do this part when you're on really good phase. Yes, turn frames reduce your repel step counter. I can see I'm nervous. I'm doing the movement in a slightly different way than I normally do. It's funny. Like only I would notice that. Repel and bike exit you from your menu here, so you need to do 2 separate menus. Okay, so we're going to do something called the swag boulder here. It's a very, very specific movement tech where you can make the dust of the boulder go the wrong way with an I think it's this one. Okay, no, it's this one. World record swag boulder. Craigasm. It's actually really hard to do. It feels good, man. I didn't even fuck it up. Yeah, if you try to swag boulder in the previous room, your repel wears out early. So we deposit all our Pokemon besides Nidoking here because they all have a cutscene in the Hall of Fame. No PC skip there either. The difference in red is that in red bar skips Pokemon cries, so it's much more worth it to preserve your red bar, which is why you send your flyer in first. Also in yellow, she doesn't have a 100% chance to rest turn 2. It's only an 80% chance. It's just not worth it. If you're going to do that strat, you need to just YOLO Lorelei for the 1 in 3 rest. I deposited Pikachu earlier because he triggers cutscenes throughout the run. Got the rest. Craigasm. Our healing items are fucking peachy. We didn't even need to pick up the 4-star. But yeah, I mean, we did actually need to. By the way, I suggest watching the Elite Four of this run, commentary and non-commentary version, because the non-commentary version is, I'm like having trouble holding it together, you know? Don't horn drill the Magneton, yeah. I didn't choke this run. Okay, so this is a very, very important thing that I did here. This is very important. You can elixir before this fight, and it's faster. It is faster to elixir before this fight. However, you have to use a blizzard on the Onix. And if you use that blizzard on the Onix, then you have 4 blizzards remaining, and you need to hit all 4 blizzards. And if you miss any of them, you're fucked. Like, you're fucked. So I set up my X-Ack on the Onix, use the blizzard, and then elixir on the Hitmonchan, which allows me to recover the blizzard that I used. This is slower but safer, and I did this because I had the pace. I had what I needed, and that's my last PP healing item for the rest of the run. And the reason is this Hitmonchan has Fire Punch, Thunder Punch, Double Team, and what he did there, X Defend. All super fast options. And then Ice Punch is bad, but it's not even that bad unless it freezes. Even if it froze, we would have been fine-ish. I mean, we probably wouldn't have gotten goal time without YOLO, but whatever. So I have exactly enough Blizzards and exactly enough Horn Drills if I do that correctly. But I took the safe strat. .9 seconds ahead of world record at Lorelei. 32.6 at Bruno. Okay, so this is the fight. You see we level on Machamp there. That's because of the XP route that we employed earlier. So now we're at the bottom of a level. So we're going to well, first of all, we used our Carbos to be faster than this Gengar because it has a shitty moveset. Then we're going to set up X Special on the Golbat, which allows us, X Speed doesn't. X Special allows us to kill the Golbat with Blizzard, and then preserving that badge boost all the way till the end of this fight. We're faster than the Gengar as well. So the only bad move here is Supersonic. We get Supersonic, but it misses. But then we miss Blizzard. But it's okay, because I took the safe strat and saved an extra Blizzard just in case we missed one, because I knew I had the pace. If I didn't do that, this run would have been over. Fucked. No world record. So remember, if I level up, I lose the speed badge boost that the X Special gave me. So I'll be slower than the Gengar. That Gengar has Psychic, Crit is dead. That Gengar has Hypnosis, I think. I don't know. Yeah, it probably has Hypnosis. And if we level up, it goes away. X Special Thunderbolt is a range with Perfect Special. 40%-ish. Nah, you don't ever play around Gen 1 misses. So that full restore looks a little silly. Wait, did I have a super potion? Did I just pass a super potion? I don't think so. If I did, that was a mistake. Anyway, we need to heal to full here because we don't want to have to heal during the fight. We need to be like full HP. I did have a super. Lol. Hydro Pump crit, you're dead. It crits at about 15%. But it can also miss. Then this Dragonair has Hyper Beam and Slam. Okay, so really cool fight here. X Special gives us enough special defense to tank the Hydro Pump and enough defense to tank the Hyper Beam were it to come out. The X Attack gives us enough attack to kill these Dragonairs with Earthquake with the attack badge boost. And then both the speed badge boost from the X Special and the X Attack give us just enough speed to be faster than the Aerodactyl. What this allows us to do is go through this fight using Earthquakes on the Dragonairs instead of Blizzard, which allows us to skip a PP healing item that we would have had to pick up otherwise. Gotta hit this Blizzard. You can see me do a little fist pump. I mean, you can't, but I can't. Like, I'm going to turn the sound back on after the end of this fight because I need to, I'm actually retiming this run right now. I have 2 super potions left. What was I thinking? I could have just super potioned. Whatever. That's kind of silly. I thought I didn't have any supers left. I guess I did. Okay, so this fight is literally just X Special gives us enough special to one-shot him with Blizzard. It gives us enough defense to tank the Earthquake. It gives us enough speed to be faster than the Alakazam. So you just need to not get crit by Earthquake and not miss the Blizzard, and you're fine. Didn't get red bar there. Stats too good. And then the last thing that can happen in this fight, could the Alakazam live Earthquake without the X item? I actually think that It can, yes. But I'm not actually sure. Doesn't matter. You have to use the next item anyway. Earthquake, being in red bar actually saves time on earthquake animations here. So you have to X accuracy here on the executor. It also has hypnosis. Hypnosis and leech seed are its moves. So if I got hypnosis even once there, I probably wouldn't have gotten my gold. Well, I had one full restore left, right? No, I didn't because I used it. So no, I wouldn't have gotten my gold time. So we're looking for the last white frame here for our time. Or for the first fully white frame. Why didn't you horn drill the magneton? Please, dude. Thanks, Pokepons. Pokeflute is a good... Well, with all that HP to recover, it's actually not that much slower. Oh, I forgot to split. It's okay, though. It doesn't matter. Okay, I'm going to turn the sound back on.
No, Patrick, mayonnaise is not an instrument. Horseradish is not an instrument either.
H.
This should be a 152, by the way. Yeah, it was almost 152 in game time, but it wasn't quite. 152 IGT. Which is sick. $153. Wow, so close. It's okay though, it doesn't matter. Yeah, looks like it was a 50. 155.50. Let's fucking go. That's it. We did it. That's the goal. 155XX. Thanks for the $10 dark. God, I hate my voice. Yeah, so it looks like it was a 50. It was a little faster than that, but not 0.3 seconds faster. So yeah. Oh no, it was a 4.9, wasn't it? It was a 4.9. I'm looking at the wrong timer. It was a 4.9. I was like, wait a second.